Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Punaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. Together we chant Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verses 11 to 20.
तेषामेवानुकम्पार्थम् अहमज्ञानजं तमः नाशयाम्यात्मभावस्थः ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता। अर्जुन उवाच परं ब्रह्म परं धाम पवित्रं परमं भवान् पुरुषं शाश्वतं दिव्यम् आदिदेवमजं विभुम् आहुस्त्वां ऋषयः सर्वे देवर्षिर्नारदस्तथा असितो देवलो व्यासः स्वयं चैव ब्रवीषि मे सर्वमेतदृतं मन्ये यन्मां वदसि केशव न हि ते भगवन् व्यक्तिम् विदुर्देवान दानवाः स्वयमेवात्मनात्मानं वेत्थत्वं पुरुषोत्तम भूतभावन भूतेश देवदेव जगत्पते वक्तुमर्हस्य शेषेण दिव्याह्यात्मविभूतयः याभिर्विभूतिभिर्लोकान् इमांस्त्वं व्याप्य तिष्ठसि कथं विद्यामहं योगिन् त्वां सदा परिचिन्तयन् केषु केषु च भावेषु चिन्त्योऽसि भगवन्मया विस्तरेणात्मनो योगम् विभूतिं च जनार्दन भूयः कथय तृप्तिर्हि शृण्वतो नास्ति मे मृतम् श्रीभगवानुवाच हन्त ते कथयिष्यामि दिव्याह्यात्मविभूतयः प्राधान्यतः कुरु श्रेष्ठः नास्त्यन्तो विस्तरस्य मे अहमात्मा गुडाकेश सर्वभूताशयस्थितः अहमादिश्च मध्यं च भूतानामन्त एव च
We have been studying how Arjuna is asking for the Lord's manifestation. He's saying, tell me more about your vibhutis, tell me more about your glories. There is no satiation in listening to the nectarine. It is Amrita Tulya. It is as good as Amrita, just listening to this. And this is an experience we will all have. It is all Amrita Tulya. It is so beautiful just listening to these ideas. Then what's the problem? What's the problem?
Putting into action.
Yeah, we are very content with just listening because listening is so wonderful. But they have told us, what is the process? I want to hear it in Sanskrit.
Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasa.
Very good, Naim. Excellent. But what is the Shravana going to do? What is all this listening going to do to you? It's going to do nothing. The listening, the teacher, the scriptures, we must consider them like a signpost. Just a signpost. It is telling us, go in that direction. You're sitting at the signpost, garlanding the signpost, saying, what a beautiful signpost, sharing all sorts of qualities and praises and everything on the signpost. The signpost is saying, Arey Baba, I am only there to show you where to go. I am not there for you guys to sit here. This is not a tree. You don't sit under its shade. You proceed to where you have to go. So he says, tell me more. Let me listen more. It is so beautiful. It is so wonderful. When that desire is there for you, in you for the higher, it's just wonderful listening. If you have all sorts of issues, you just fought with your husband or wife, you screamed at your maid, you had a problem in office, you come to Gita class and Shanti. So many people say, this is our tonic for the week. This is for our, just come back to peace, come back to center. But we have to use that to go forward, or it's no use. If the mind is agitated, we won't be able to do sadhana. we won't be able to do what needs to be done. What do we need to do?
Reflect.
Reflect. We need to do the manana. If we don't do the manana, Shravana will take us nowhere. So, we do the manana. But the manana can be done only if
Mind is calm.
Only if mind is calm. Very good. The mind is calm. You can't do it, right? You're all agitated, all worked up. What manana are you going to do? So, it's good that the scriptures have the potential for bringing our agitations down. They do that. They give you peace. That's why people go to the temple, to the church, to the mosque, to the places of pilgrimage, to the rituals, the ceremonies, to the scriptures, to the literature. They treat the signpost as the destination because, according to them, by coming to the signpost, they have achieved. What have they achieved by coming to the signpost? ये भाई कोई सुन रहा है क्या?
Moksha.
Very good. They've achieved peace. Now what do you want? And you come back to the signpost every time this peace goes away. And as long as the peace lasts, the signpost is unnecessary. दुख में सुमिरन सब करे, सुख में करे न कोई, जो सुख में सुमिरन करे, दुख काहे को होए. When there is sukh, then what is happening? We've gone off to enjoy the sukh. Oh, I have weddings in my family. Oh, we have to go on a vacation. No, everybody's having fun. Good thing. I mean, it's a good thing that everybody's having fun. But the fun is never to be at the cost of
your goal.
Of the goal. Very good. Never at the cost of the goal. Never forgetting what you're really here for. Imagine you're on a train journey, and in that train journey, you're having lots of fun. Isn't that a good thing? It's a good thing. Why should you sit in that train being bored to death and saying, oh, when will my destination come? When will my destination come? No, you bring all your food and your theplas and your puri bhaji, and you sit there and you have it and you share it with everybody around, and then you'll get down to singing and antakshari and all sorts of stuff. Very good. It's a good thing. Not a bad thing. It's a good thing. But if all that fun makes you get off the train and go off somewhere else, now it's become a bad thing. That's what spiritual sadhana is. It's that simple, really. As long as you are enjoying your life, good. But whenever that enjoyment becomes an interruption to your sadhana, no, thank you. I will have none. I'll have none at thy hands, said Christ. Oh, good day to remember him. Get thee behind me, Satan, I'll have none at thy hands. That's why he became Christ. And we stay where we are. We can celebrate his birthdays and his death days and all this sort of thing we can do. His resurrection days. So, मैं क्या करूं if he is born or resurrected? Or मैं क्या करूं? How does that affect my life? I must take inspiration from his life to become that. Other than that, what am I doing? I'm eating Easter eggs. What? Oh, Easter, how nice. We'll get good at Easter eggs. That's all I have a concept. Oh, Diwali, how nice. Oh, what is this? Vishu. What do you eat for Vishu?
Payasam.
Payasam. Oh, Vishu is coming. What fun payasam. That's all we can think of. So, This is life. We forget. And when we are there also, we forget. This is the tragedy. It's not that we forget because we've gone off. We forget while we are there because why do we forget while we are there? While we are in the class, we will forget. Why?
One goal to hit the self.
What?
One
Because
goal to hit the self.
Now, why have you forgotten that you have to get to the self?
Because your
mind is not calm.
Because of desires. We have plenty of desires.
Because I started enjoying the class. Involved with current
Very
enjoyment.
good. Finally, somebody said it. Because the class, the sadhana itself gave you peace. You forgot it was sadhana. Sadhana comes from the word sadhan. Sadhan means tool. You have fallen in love with the tool. Imagine that you've fallen in love with the signpost. And why have you fallen in love with the signpost? Oh, so nectarine, so lovely. I feel like so wonderful. I hope you all are following the line of thought, okay? Arjuna is asking for the glories of the Lord. He's asking for the manifestations of the Lord. Why is he asking? He says, please tell me more. Please tell me more. Because it's nectarine. It's amrutatulya. It's like amrut listening to you. Tell me more. Tell me more. The pleasure of the path keeps us from the path. First, the pleasures of the world keep us from the path. That is for 90% of humanity. That 10% that arrives at the path, the pleasures of the path keep us from the goal. So he's saying, tell me more. I'm loving this. Loving it. I'm loving it. He thinks this is McDonald's. It is not. It is meant for something greater. It is a signpost. It is a tool. It is a train. It is all meant to take us somewhere. Not for us to settle down here, Baba. Okay, so he's saying, tell me more, tell me more. He wants more Shravana. The Lord says, Arey Baba, why don't you do some manana?
Janki ji, I have a question.
Yeah, Naim.
So, like you said, it's nectarine, you want to hear more of it.
Mhm.
When does a bhakta know that he's doing it, he's stuck in this as rather than doing bhakti? Because bhaktas have that same attitude that they want to, they're emotional and they want to hear more. So how does a bhakta know that he's not doing the same mistake of being with the signpost?
How does the jnani know? We are all in class, no? We are all great jnanis over here. How will we know? You people look down on bhaktas so much, you all think that bhaktas are all mad people only. How will that mad person know? But how do we know? Naim, how does a jnani know?
He doesn't see action, he doesn't see...
Naim, this text is talking to us, no? And we call ourselves jnanis. How does the jnani know? Anybody? How does the jnani know?
How aware you are of your goal.
No, how does he know that he's lost it?
Reflection.
Not going anywhere ahead.
That can happen on any path, right? You can be stuck.
Because Janki because his intellect is aware. As soon as he divert, his intellect will pull him on the line.
So, Naim, there is only one way that anybody can know whether he's a karmi, whether he's a bhakta, or whether he's a jnani. his intellect has to tell him. Now you people all are under the impression that this poor bhakta, वो तो इतना पागल आदमी है, उसके पास intellect है ही नहीं. I don't know where everyone's getting this idea. Every human being has a body, has a mind, has an intellect. Every human being. And every human being has to use it. So it's not like the bhakta is at some sort of, what should I say, disadvantage. That we are advantaged. There's no such thing. We can, a desire has to be under the governance of an intellect, regardless of what that desire is. It could be a physical desire, it could be an emotional desire, it could be an intellectual desire, it could be a spiritual desire. So it has to be under the governance of the intellect. So how does the bhakta know? If his intellect works, he will know. Exactly how the jnani knows and exactly how the karmi knows. And also exactly how the materialistic person knows that he has gone off his path to his materialistic goal. The same principle throughout.
Yes, Janki, thank you.
So please don't all of you be under the impression that we are the only Lord's gifted creatures who have an intellect. We all have an intellect. I mean, often in class, not Naeem alone, often in class people will ask questions like, oh, we are all smart people, we'll do it. How will the bhakta do it? Arey Baba, the bhakta may reach before us. So don't think about it as, oh, he is some sort of disadvantage he has. None. What is none? Who is none? Are you new none? Or have you just, or is it Nonita who just put her name by mistake as none? Or anyone from class? I'm just checking. Is anyone here new? None? Okay. So, is it clear that he's asking for more Shravana? Why is he asking for more Shravana?
Feeling peaceful just hearing that.
Is getting
So
pleasure.
nectarine. Yeah, so pleasure. So see, through his questions, we know where are the possible errors we make. First, he's not interested because he has so many other things in life to do. Then he is interested. Now he's interested because it's peace. It in itself is good for him. And he has forgotten that he has to go beyond the glories, beyond the manifestations, everything you see in the world. Whether you label it spiritual or you don't, it's a mere manifestation. It's a mere manifestation. Everything. And no sadhak is interested in the manifestation. Deep in his heart, he knows he has to get somewhere. Any achiever knows this. Whether you're trying to achieve something in this world or you're achieving something beyond this world, the methodology is the same. You want it and you are willing to pay the price. Now, it so happens that this is relatively easy to do in the world. Relatively means relatively to self-realization. So people do it. But when it comes to self-realization, it is not enlightenment we are seeking. It is temporary peace of the sadhana. In which case, we are still worldly people. Which is fine. But we must know the facts. We must not label ourselves spiritual if we are not. Spiritual and material, the only difference is material people are interested in the material and spiritual are interested in the spirit. Material contains physical objects, means objects and beings of the world, the body, the mind, and the intellect. If you're interested in anything that is within this realm, you are called a material person. When we say people who is so materialistic, we are saying that he's interested in money. But in philosophy, when we say you're materialistic, it means you're interested in matter. Matter means anything other than the self. Spiritual means you're interested in the spirit beyond matter. So now that Arjuna is interested, he says, tell me more, I'm loving it. To which, what does the Lord say? Let us see, verse 19. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Hantate kathayeshyami Divyayatma vibhutayaha Pradhanyata kuru shrestha Nastyanto vistarasya me Hantate kathayeshyami Divyayatma vibhutayaha Pradhanyata kuru shrestha Nastyanto vistarasya me. Arjuna says, I'm loving it. This is great. This is super. Tell me more. I want to hear more. Tell me about all your glories. This is so wonderful. Tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. To which Sri Bhagavanuvacha, the Blessed Lord says, Hanta, Hanta, Hanta. Hanta means, now this is an interesting word. You can take it as a pada purnartha, which means you just put that word in to fit the meter of the text. Some people do say that. Hanta can be used to say, like, well, okay, just any word to fit the meter. Or you think that the Lord has chosen this particular word because one of its meanings is, alas, Hanta. Hanta. Even in the Upanishad, he uses the word Hanta. Hanta to mean alas. So close and so far away. You have come so close. You have got a human birth. You have got circumstances and situations that have enabled you to conceive this. You have that desire within you. You have begun to enjoy this subject. You are in the presence of a teacher, Swayam Narayana himself. And what do you ask? You say, tell me your glories. If there was the hint of ego in Krishna, he would have said, oh great, I'll tell you all my glories. But he says, Hanta, Hanta. Hanta, that you want to know any of this, terrible that you don't want to know any of this. What will it take to make you want to know something beyond all? What will it take? So then he gives up. Kya kare beyond the point? What can you go on? You can't keep telling people to have a question they don't have. Say to you, Kathayashyam, I will tell you, Divya Atma Vibhutaya. I will tell you, Divyaha, the divine Atma Vibhutaya, my divine glories. I will tell you. Pradhanyata Kurushreshta. O Kurushreshta, he is talking to Arjuna. He is saying, oh, you who are the best among the Kurus. Kuru Shreshta. Isn't it so sad? It's almost pathetic, right? It's a pathetic fallacy. That you who are the best of humanity, you're so close and so far away from understanding what I am telling you. So far. Oh Kuru Shreshta, oh best of the Kurus, meaning the best of the human beings. Haven't you seen very, very, very fine human beings? If you have been blessed to meet fine human beings, highly sattvic human beings, they're so pure, they're so good, they're so disciplined, they're so clear. Pleasure to talk to them, pleasure to be with them. Everything about them is so cultured, dignified, graceful. Oh Kuru Shreshta, oh best among humans. Even you are not interested. Not interested. Not interested means you say, how are you not interested? I am interested in the spiritual path. Yes, Baba, you are all interested in the spiritual path. We are all interested in the spiritual path. The big question is, how many of us are interested in
The self.
the spiritual goal? Right, Bharat? And the spiritual goal. We are all interested in the path because the path is good fun. You go to the mandir, they give you prasad. You go for Easter Mass. You go for this is Ramadan. Yesterday I was listening to somebody. They were saying, "हम लोग इतना अच्छा खाना खाते हैं और सबको इतना खिलाते हैं, कितना मजा आता है." What are you doing it for? You forgot? What are you doing it for? Why are we celebrating all these things? What are you doing it for? When you celebrate your own birthday, what are you doing it for? You know, in olden times, every marriage ceremony was a prayer. You know that, right? And the prayers went on for days. Now also marriages go on for days. But there's everything but prayer over there. Because everything in life has to remind us about that thing. So they created a system by which, no matter what's happening, they remind you of the Lord. But we love the reminders, not the Lord. Tragic, no? Oh Kurushreshta, Hanta Kurushreshta. Alas, oh best of the Kurus, oh best of humanity. But anyway, I will tell you, you've asked a question, I'm going to answer. Pradhanyata. I will tell you in chief. Why in chief? Na asti. There is no anta. Na asti anta. There is no end. Mama me vibhutaya. There is no end. There's no end to my details. Much can I tell you? Vistarasya means in great detail I will tell you. There is no end to the detailing of my glories. Why is there no end to the detailing of my glories?
Because you will not be satisfied.
Okay, that is one. What else?
Because it is infinite.
Why is it infinite? It's everywhere.
All pervading.
There is no end to my detailing, he's saying. Yes, Ashya, because everything you see is the self, right? Now suppose you have
Because it enlivens everything.
No, because it talks about so many intricate things. Like every time he says something about something, there will be more intricacies in it. Therefore, there is no end to the detailing.
Very good. Good reflection you're doing, Punika. I can see you're back from a reflecting journey.
Yes, Guruji, I'm back from Vipassana. Thank you.
It's if you were to say, if electricity were to say, I will tell you all my manifestations, but I cannot tell you all my manifestations, so I will tell you in chief. Why is that? How many gadgets will it talk about, right? It'll talk about washing machine, the mixer grinder, the air conditioner.
Too many to mention.
Too many to mention. So pradhanyata, Purushreshta, O Purushreshta, O best of the Purus, pradhanyata. I will tell you chief. I will tell you main. Because what can I say? Everything here. Anything that you can see or hear or taste or touch or feel is the self. Any emotion, any thought is the self. Now how am I going to list down everything in this world for you? This book will never end. So pradhanyata, I will tell you. Now, very interestingly, you will see now, he's about to start telling him, you will see a very interesting phenomenon. When he uses pradhanyata, I'll tell you, mainly, I'll tell you the main ones. He chooses all the best. The usual question is, if the Lord is all pervading, then why is he choosing only the best? This is because
what it requires is important.
Sorry?
No, what the opposite, what the student require is more important.
And there are all types of students. So he has taken the lowest common denominator. Why lowest common denominator? It's going to show the best, right? So why do we say he's taken the lowest common denominator?
Even lowest also self is available.
Okay, that is fine, correct. But why that is true, but why is he telling us why is he when he's telling us the pradhanyata, okay, the pradhan, the important, the main, why do we call it lowest common denominator?
Because we are there and he has to take us from where we are to where we don't know.
Yes, correct. But I'm asking you, why is the highest considered lowest common denominator?
Because that represents the entire, that particular community. Suppose human, so humans.
Yes, okay, but why is it called? I mean, I called it the lowest common denominator, so you should have said, "Arey, he's saying the best, and you're calling it the lowest." Why are you not asking me?
There's a minimum number of things that he's saying. Meaning, choosing the
Also, he wants each and every person, at no matter what level they are at, everyone should be able to understand.
Correct. So why are we called? He's showing the best. But then in class, your teacher said he's showing the lowest common denominator. So you should say, when
so even a beginner can understand. So it doesn't matter what level of spirituality you are at, how evolved you are. So even if you're not at
Very
that
good.
great level, you should be able to understand.
Yes, very good. Great, Sangeeta.
Thank you.
Very rarely you answer. Why do you not answer normally?
Ma'am, I've not been able to attend because the time clashes with my work timing.
Oh, okay.
So
But I
today
you.
I was lucky. No, I've not been able to attend a lot. Thank you.
Okay. Why is he choosing the best? And why if he's choosing the best, why call it lowest common? Lowest common denominator, because when the lower, the grosser a person, the more he requires expression. Okay, as quality improves, expression decreases. So the lower, like suppose it is a Einstein, okay, then what does Einstein will tell you? He will say, what is your theory of relativity? He'll say E is equal to mc squared. And then he'll go his merry way. Okay? No, the rest of us have no idea what he just said. Because when he's a genius, he needs very little expression. Now, when you start teaching physics, now think of how much expression, how much action, laboratory, what not you're going to require. But when you reach the highest levels, like Einstein doesn't use a laboratory. He doesn't need one. His laboratory is his brain and a paper and a pencil. That's it. In today's world, if he existed, then everyone, then he would be using a laptop. But other than that, so why does it appeal to the lowest? Because the expression is the highest. So even the lowest person will be inspired by the highest. So if it is a major, something fantastic, for instance, there were people before COVID struck who were telling us that we are damaging the environment. There were people who were talking about it. Nobody paid any attention. But after COVID struck, then even the people who were not listening started listening about it. Haven't you seen that? So the more dramatic the expression, the more people will be able to relate to it. So suppose it's a teacher, okay, in a classroom. Okay, some children are naughty, some children are well behaved, all sorts of things are going on. Suppose one child does something that he ought not to do. The teacher looks at him. If he is sensible, he'll stop. Okay, but if he is not sensible, it doesn't even register the teacher has looked at him, then what will he do? He'll continue. Then the teacher will say, or something. The teacher will say, he still doesn't understand. Then she or he has to express more and say, what are you doing? Why are you behaving like this? Even that he doesn't understand. Then what will that teacher do? He'll take one chadi and whack that child, right? As the grossness increases, manifestation increases. So, who will be, when you choose the highest in all things, you're making sure that the whole lot understand. That is why it becomes common denominator. We'll go through the whole lot. The more intelligent, the more developed would have understood, even if you had just mentioned it. But when you say the highest, then the lowest understand, the highest understand, and every in between understands. Okay, clear? So he chose the highest to cater to the lowest. And secondly,
excuse me.
Yeah, Noshi.
Mathematically, the lowest common denominator is the kernel of the highest common denominator. So therefore, if you go to the lowest common denominator, it is the first step that takes you to the highest. The same way here.
Correct.
Where's the difference?
Yes, correct. That's right. So when you say something that even the lowest can understand, you have included even the highest. Correct. The same way. So therefore, the reason he says pradhanyat, I will tell you the main ones, the highest ones, the top ones, so that appeals to everyone. That's number one. Then number two, I will tell you mainly, chiefly. So much he's going to tell us, okay? Please, there are going to be some chapters now on this. In different ways he's going to tell us. Because one of the methods of educating us is repetition. Just repeat, repeat, repeat. It's exactly what even marketing does. See, when they want to sell you something, what do? They keep flashing it. Oh, what is this? Louis Vuitton. Keep on flashing it. Sometimes you put it on your television, sometimes it's on your social media place, sometimes it's here, sometimes it's there. Till finally you say, okay, Baba, let's buy this Boeviton. Because on and on and on. That's why they use the influencers nowadays, because less and less people are going to watch television. So everywhere, everyone is talking about it. Like repetition makes you take action. So he's tried so many things. Yeah, try this one also. Let us see if any of them work on us. I hope you've also taken cognizance of the fact that Krishna has not spoken a single word for 7 verses. Not a single word. He is a great genius at not saying anything ever. In fact, in his life, he never spoke on this. Imagine. Swayam Narayana on earth, he spoke on this subject just twice.
Janki ji, one question.
Oh, 1 second, Mithali. Rajneesh has just written something. Let me just check. Isn't understanding these expressions are stepping stones for reaching our goal? Yes, but that is the whole problem. We are dancing on the stepping stones. We are not reaching our goal. We are, oh, these are nice stepping stones, and we are happily settling down over there. We have to use them. Anything is only as good as what you use it for. Suppose I tell you any truth. You can actually use that truth to damage somebody, isn't it? You can do anything with it. Einstein found out the theory of relativity. What did US use it for? What did US use his theory for?
Atom bomb, Japan.
For the atom bomb. So any piece of information is only as good as what you do with it. He found out, Einstein told us energy and matter are the same. So with that, the military, I won't say US, let's say the military, made an atom bomb. Somebody else will do something else. The physicist used it for different purposes. So isn't it a stepping stone? Yes, it is. But any stepping stone is only as good as the person who's stepping on it. Okay. Is there anything else that I missed? Yeah, Mithali, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know whether I heard it right. As grossness increases, manifestation increases.
Mm-hmm.
So
the
I'm
need for
not
manifestation increases. I probably didn't say that right. As grossness increases, the need for manifestation increases.
Need for what does that mean? Need for manifestation mean?
The requirement for manifestation.
To see results.
Any manifestation. It could be in love also. A man may love his wife a lot. Okay. But she may never know this. Because he has never manifested it. And she requires manifestation. And the other way around too.
Okay.
Could be in anything. Could be in knowledge. In the Upanishadic student gets 17, 18 verses. Arjuna gets 700 verses. So as the grossness increases, the manifestation, the requirement for manifestation increases.
So, Janki ji, is it okay to say that मतलब आपको ज्ञान का प्रतीक ज्ञान आपको प्राप्त हो लेकिन उसका प्रतीक आपको दिखना चाहिए. You must see the ज्ञान का जो example है वो दिखना चाहिए. Is that what you mean by manifestation, or you're saying that when you know you have the knowledge and then you put it into your real life or you use it in your real life and see the results? So they are two different things.
I'm talking in terms of knowledge. It is comprehension. How much do you require explanation till you understand? So if you're a very smart person, you get it in the first sentence. If you're a little less smart, you will get it after explanation. If you're even less smart, you will get it only after the knocks and shocks of life. You actually experience that thing. So a very smart person, he listens to the concept of attachment. Attachment causes sorrow. He gets it. He never in his life get attached because he got it. Then another person says, I don't understand. So he gets more explanation. And then he gets it. Then a third person, after having heard you shouldn't be attached and the explanation, hasn't got it at all. So then he gets into an agitation, into an attachment, gets terribly agitated, creates a complete mess of everything. And then he said, oh, hell. So this is what they were talking about. And the dumbest people, even after all this problem has happened and they have suffered and they suffered repeatedly, they still don't get it. So how much manifestation do you require before you get it?
Janki ji.
One second, Milind. Mitali, are you okay?
Yes. Thank you, Janki ji. Thank you.
Okay. Konika?
Yes, Janki ji. I sort of understood. Yes, I'll percolate this a little bit in my mind.
Or take example of love. How much do you require someone to do for you before you realize that person loves you? I mean, some people don't require any. What is that lovely song? Old friends like bookends sitting on the park bench. Remember that one? I can only remember this much, so don't ask me to tell you anymore. Sitting on the park bench like bookends. In other words, they're not talking to each other, they're not saying anything, but there's a deep, what should I say, connection between them. They're met at the park, they're sitting on the bench, but they're not saying a single word. And they are old friends. So, no manifestation, zero manifestation. And one lady told me that somebody told her that he loved her and she was not interested in that man. Then that man, and she thought, no, I'm not interested. And then that man sent to her a truck of red roses. Truck. Her whole house was stuffed. Like, can you imagine how many red roses that would be? Whole house was stuffed with red roses. Now all the women are saying, oh, my husband never sent me anything like that. So this girl got married to this boy. After manifestation, 5 years later, they were divorced. And they were divorced because of how badly he treated. So, what are you seeing in life? What are you seeing? Some crazy manifestations and getting carried away? Can you appreciate how much someone loves you when that person hasn't said a single word to you or hates you, both ways? The grosser the individual, the more the requirement for manifestation. Another one, you were so interested in the results. Results are also correct. There is this chap whose name I have now forgotten. Who discovered electricity?
Thomas Edison.
Edison.
Edison. Thomas Alva Edison.
Graham Bell.
Faraday.
No, Graham Bell invented the phone.
Yeah, Faraday? Nobody invented electricity, okay? Excuse me, please go to Google for all this. I tell you the story. This chappie, who was it? He discovered electricity because he did that kite experiment of his. Okay, means he didn't discover it, means he showed it to the people that time, and he showed the kite and some American chap whose name I have now forgotten. So that when he showed it,
Benjamin Franklin.
Was it Benjamin Franklin? Yeah, probably. No, he did the kite story, right?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm very sorry. All my data points of this is maybe incorrect because I can only remember what I can remember. Okay, so I can only remember the point of the story, which is this: that he showed all the people in the community, his whole town came to see what is this new thing they discovered, electricity. So after he showed them the whole thing, then the mayor asked him, of what use is this? To which the man replied, he said, one day you will be able to tax it. You understand how impossible it is for a person who's a visionary to explain to other people what is the use of this thing that that person is doing. So he says, one day you'll be able to tax it, because that's all the mayor can understand. Here he's discovered electricity. All of humanity took a giant step forward because electricity, and every discovery that we've got now, we can reach the moon, we can be talking, having online classes, everything that we do, all our factories, everything runs on electricity. And that man asked him, of what use is? So that inventor, he knows the value of electricity when it is in that case condition, because obviously he is the brains, right? But the rest of us understand the use of electricity only after we see all these manifestations, only after all that progress is taking place. So the smart guys get it quickly. The dumb guys take a longer time. So in terms of results, Kunika, when the result comes, the dumb person understands, the smart person understands when the action was performed. Clear now?
Yes, Janki ji, clear. Thank you.
Milind?
Janki ji.
Go ahead, Milind. If you're saying something, I can't hear you. You can write it, Milind. In the meanwhile, Naim, you wanted to say something?
Yes, Janpriji, in the circle of worship, if you need a form for a god to, get those devotional feelings, then you are grosser. And if you're able to worship a god without a form, without, a shape form, then you're at more subtle.
Yes, correct. Actually, you can take the whole thing, since you brought this point up. There are 5 types of idols based on the 5 elements this world is made up of. The grossest is an idol, a physical form. It could be a physical form such as a murti of Rama or Krishna. It could be a physical form such as a temple or a church or a mosque. It could be a physical form such as a Shivalinga. You're familiar with the Shivalinga, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it is not a murti in the sense of a person, just an
epilepsy.
Yeah. And then it could be a physical form, anything that involves physical, like the earth element. Okay, anything, even wearing a cross. Some people wear that necklace, the cross or something. All these have come under the gross element, the gross worship. So everybody, all religions will have this. All of them will have a gross worship, which is something physical. Then the second one is water. So that's why every religion has this, some form of water. There's the Ganga, which is Pavitra, or there is in the church, you have, I don't know if you're familiar, the water before you enter, or the wine that they have to have. All of this is the water symbols. Then in the temples, they give you tirtham, and all of these are the water symbols. Things that we have associated with God to remind us of Him. Then you have the fire symbols. Okay, like agarbattis, like the fire temple, like havan, like the, that thing that they take around with that smoke coming out. I don't know what it is called.
Aarti or Dhuni?
Aarti
Dhuni or
also,
Aarti?
yes. But the Muslims have that thing, no, which they come around with that thing which they do.
Incense.
What?
Oud.
Oud, okay. So the fire symbols, candles in the church, the diyas, all of these are the fire symbols. Then we have the air symbols, all the fragrances associated with the Lord. So you will hear about this Lord loving this flower and this on that, fragrances associated with the Lord, agarbattis, things like that. And the subtlest is always sound. So the subtler you are, the subtler the symbol you will use. That is why mantras are considered the subtlest symbol, because they just sound. So you're right, Naim. The grosser, the greater the expression, the more revelry. Have you seen all the revelry and the ceremony and the, well, like maja masti, literally. And then you feel like Ganesha festival has to be massive, has to be big. The Ganesha has to be so big. Then only you can feel, Arey Baba, that Ganesha which is so big is not even the puja murti. Are you all aware that there are two types of murtis? There's a Utsav murti and a puja murti. Like the Utsav murti gets more importance than the puja murti gets. Not all murtis, are worship worthy. They have to be consecrated, right? It's not like you can just put up a building and call it a mosque or a temple or a church. It has to be consecrated. So similarly, murtis, only when they're consecrated, they become puja murtis. But the Utsav murtis that they call the thing, because people are more interested in that. Big, so big you have to be. Then only you're inspiring to us. I want to show how big my Lord is. So then you're inspiring. And this is allowed by religion because
at least reminds you.
Lowest common denominator.
Because?
Lowest common denominator.
Correct. Very good. Yes. So Naim, answer to your question is yes. That was just an explanation you hadn't even asked for. Okay. So, okay. So that's it for today. We will continue next time. I hope you all know that the crowdfunding is on. If anyone wants to